I go by the name of Fato Gonzalez, the one and only Dirty House Bastard. And right now it's time to up the level again. Dirty House Mixtape 7, July 2013.
Come over here, boy, you look nice, you look sweet. Come over here and come to me if you want to do it. Let's sexy kind of man, we're sexy kind of girl. Let's push up on it. It's all about loving that is peers.
Hello, we are going to talk about the Western America, which includes the states California, Nevada, Utah, Colorado, Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, Washington, and Oregon. Yes, and the must-see sites in the West are Yellowstone, Death Valley, San Francisco, Las Vegas, Yosemite, and Los Angeles. And first of all, we're going to talk about San Francisco. And San Francisco is a must-see city when traveling in California. There lives around 840,000 people, and it has the nickname Fog City because it is always foggy because of the Pacific Ocean. When you are in San Francisco, you must see Fisherman's Wharf, which is a popular tourist attraction, and it is also here the Pier 39 is, where the ship to Alcatraz departures. Alcatraz is a world-famous jail out on the isolated island north from the San Francisco, and has housed some of the most dangerous prisoners in the world. It is closed now for prisoners, but open for the public to go out and explore on the island. When you are in San Francisco, you must also see the Golden Gate Bridge, which is one of the most photographed attractions in the world. And next we have Yosemite, and Yosemite is a national park and is designated a World Heritage Site since 1984. It is famous for having spectacular waterfalls, wildlife, and nice hiking routes. And we also have Yellowstone, which is a national park that stretches from Idaho to Montana, and is held to be the first national park in the world. Yellowstone is famous for geysers and especially Old Faithful. Then we have Las Vegas. Las Vegas is a city in the state of Nevada and is in the middle of a desert. It's famous for all its casinos and shows, and when you visit it, you need to go for a walk up the strip where all the big casinos and hotels are situated. Then we have Death Valley. Death Valley can be described with three words: hottest, driest, and lowest. In this below sea level passing, steady drought, and rugged heat make the Death Valley a land of extremes. But even in this unforgivable landscape, a wide diversity of life survives. And then we have the Los Angeles. And it would take several lifetimes to explore all the activities that Los Angeles has to offer. There are world-famous theme parks like the Universal Studios in Hollywood, Six Flags, Magic Mountain, and Disneyland, while studios like Universal, Warner Brothers, Paramount Pictures, and Sony Pictures offer the ultimate film and TV fan experience. Attractions like the USA's Iowa and the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library offer something for the entire family. Shop at retail stores like the Grove at the Beverly Center, or go shopping in one of the outlets. And recreational activities include spectacular beaches and hundreds of miles of hiking and biking trails. Yes.
The west coast of America is a lot different than the east coast. Some examples of the people. In the east coast, it seems like people rush things more compared to the west coast, where people are more relaxed. The reason for that is that the West has generally been considered less bounded by tradition and more freely engaged to open to new ideas. It's very unusual to see a person in a suit in the West Coast. In the West Coast, it's more common to see the business people in lighter clothes, such as just a shirt or maybe sometimes a pair of shorts. It's very unusual to see businessmen wearing shorts in the East Coast. So shorts are more common in the West Coast because of the more sunny weather. here it's more common to be outside instead of being inside compared to the East Coast. So if you want a sunny vacation, West Coast is definitely the place to be. The West Coast doesn't get that many immigrants compared to the East Coast. There's a reason why there's such a big difference between the East Coast and the West Coast. A lot more foreign cultures are in the East Coast. The West Coast also have a proportionally larger share of green cities within the United States, which manifests itself in different cultural practices such as bicycling. You see a lot of people riding their bikes to school or work in the West Coast compared to the East, where it's more usual to drive the car or a taxi. Organic gardening has also become very popular in the West Coast. You can do it for both business purposes, but also for your own private purposes.
West Coast or Pacific Coast are the coast facts. West Coast or Pacific Coast are the terms for the westernmost coastal states of the United States, usually California, a region, and Washington. The U.S. Census groups the 5 states of California, a region, Washington, Alaska, and Hawaii together as the Pacific States Division. As of the 10,000 West Coast facts. West Coast or Pacific Coast are terms for the westernmost coastal states of the United States, usually California, a region, and Washington. The U.S. Census groups the 5 states of California, a region, Washington, Alaska, and Hawaii together as the Pacific States Division. As of 2010 census, the estimated population of the Pacific region was about 47.8 million people. The largest city on the west coast of the United States is Los Angeles. The Western United States, commonly referred to as the American West or simply the West, traditionally refers to the region comprising the westernmost states of the United States. Because the U.S. expanded after its founding, the meaning of the West has evolved over time. Prior to about 1800, the crest of the Appalachian Mountains was seen as the western frontier. Since then, the frontier moved further west and the Mississippi River was as the easternmost possible boundary of the West. The West mostly comprises plains and forest mountains.
California is the most populous state in the U.S. and has the 3 largest areas of the after Alaska and Texas. California is also known as the Golden State after the California Golden Fiber. California is the only American state has a Danish name. The first Europeans who explored to the California coast was the Portuguese Juan Rodriguez in 1542, then followed after Francis Drake. He was superpower. After the fall of the USSR, the US as the world's only superpower and have continued to military actions outside the country include in the 1991
Alright, I'm going to talk about the geography of the West Coast. Some facts about the geography of the West Coast. The West Coast states are as follows: California, Nevada, Utah, Colorado, Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, Washington, and Oregon. The biggest state is California, with its area of a good 400,000 quarter kilometers, and the smallest being Washington with around 190,000 quarter kilometers. California is the biggest state when counted in inhabitants, with almost 38 million people living there. Also in California is the largest city on the West Coast, which is Los Angeles. The total area of the West Coast states is 2.4 million quarter kilometers, and the inhabitants count almost 62 million when all put together.